welcome to another lecture series. In this video lecture, we will be discussing chapter number 3, which is the manager's changing work environment and ethical responsibilities, doing the right thing. Now, this is a very interesting chapter. To begin with, let's start off with the basic fundamentals as what really is the role of a manager. Now, you need to understand that many businesses, they are subscribing to new standards of success. Now, we have this triple bottom line, which is representing people, planet, and profit. Now, it measures an organization's social, environmental, and financial performance. Now, to look into it a little bit more clearly, what we can understand from this is that success in these areas can be measured through a social audit, which is a systematic assessment of companies to perform in implementing socially responsible programs, which are often based on predefined goals. Now, as we have discussed during our lecture in class, that the managers, they operate in two organizational environments. As you can see in the diagram, which is the overall organizational environment in your book, what you can realize from this diagram is that the managers, they are operating in two organizational environments. One is the internal environment and the other one is the external environment. Now, both of these environments are made up of stakeholders. Now, stakeholders are the people whose interests are affected by the organization's activities. Now, the first for internal environment includes employees, owners, and the board of directors. Now, the question comes in that what is the community of stakeholders which are outside the organization? Now, you need to clarify this, that the external environment of stakeholders consists of the task environment and the general environment, right? So you can see in the diagram again that we have the general environment and we have the task environment. Now, the task environment consists of 11 groups that presents the manager with daily tasks to deal with, number one, customers, which basically pay to use an organization's goods and services. Then we have the competitors who compete for customers, or you could say resources. Then number 3 is suppliers. Suppliers are the ones who provide supplies like raw materials, services, equipment, labor, or energy to other organizations. Number 4 is distributors, as distributors help another organization sell its goods and services to customers. Now, number 5, as you can see in the diagram, is strategic allies, which basically join hands or join forces to achieve advantages neither organization can perform as alone. Now, number 6 is the employees. Employees organizations are labor unions and employees associations. Number 7 is local communities and residents. It also includes companies, governments, and non-profit entities that depend on the organization's taxes, payroll, and charitable contributions. Number 8 is financial institutions. These financial institutions, or you could say commercial banks, investment banks, and insurance companies, are the ones that deal with the organizations in providing them with the financial leverage. Number 9 is government regulators. And government regulators and regulatory agencies are the ones that establish the ground rules under which the organization operates. Number 10 is special interest groups. These are those groups whose members try to influence specific issues that may affect the organization. Number 11 is the mass media. That includes print, media, radio, television, and other internet sources because they affect the organization's public relations. Now, what we can learn from this is that the general environment includes 6 forces. Now, those 6 forces are economic forces that consist of general economic conditions and trends that includes unemployment, inflation, interest rates, economic growth, and these may affect an organization's performance. Number 2 is the technological forces. We very clearly discussed in detail in the class that technological forces are new developments in the methods for transforming resources into goods and services. Number 3 is social cultural forces, and these forces influence and trends originating in a society or a country or a culture, human relationships, and values that may affect an organization. So they are also very important. Similarly, demographic forces. These forces are influencing on an organization and they make changes in the overall characteristics with regards to population, such as age, gender, ethnic origin, and so forth. Political and legal forces are changes in the ways politics shapes laws and laws shapes the opportunities for and threats to an organization. I'll again repeat, as far as political and legal forces are concerned, they also have an impact on the organization as they shape the overall opportunities and threats for that organization. And number 6 is international forces that are changing in the economic, political, legal, and technological global system that may affect an organization at large. Now, since the discussion is to understand the manager's changing work environment and ethical responsibilities, it is important again for us to see clearly as what are those ethical responsibilities that are required of you as a manager. Now, ladies and gentlemen, ethics are the standards of right and wrong that influence behaviors. Now, ethical behavior is behavior that is accepted as right and as opposed to wrong according to the standards or those standards that we use. Now, ethical dilemmas are often taken place because an organization's value system or values are let me make it more simple for you, that ethical dilemmas are generally taking place because of the overall organization's value system. Because if the value system is such that it is allowing people or it allows people to do something that is not right or accepted by the society, that is something which is a bit serious, all right, or it basically makes us more concerned. So values are the relatively permanent and deeply held underlying beliefs and attitudes that help determine a person's behavior. Now, as a manager, what we need to do is that we need to ensure for ethical leadership. We need to strive for ethical leadership. All right. And how is it defined? It is defined as leadership that is directed by respect for ethical beliefs and values for the dignity and rights of others. Now, there are 4 approaches to deciding ethical dilemmas. All right. Now, those 4, I would request that you please look into the book once again and have a little bit of that you're going to be giving very soon. Now, the next step is that we also need to understand the social responsibility that is required of you as a manager. Now, social responsibility is a manager's duty to take actions that will benefit the interest of society as well as of the organization. Ladies and gentlemen, the idea of social responsibility has opposing and supporting viewpoints. I'll again repeat, the idea of social responsibility has opposing and supporting viewpoints. The opposing viewpoint is that the social responsibility of business is to make profit. All right. The supporting viewpoint is that since business creates some problems such as pollution and etc., it should also help solving those problems. Now, one scholar he suggests that responsibilities of an organization in the global economy should have the following priorities. Number 1, it needs to be a good global corporate citizen. Number 2, the organization must be ethical in its practice. Number 3, the organization should obey the laws. Number 4, the organization should make profit but not at the stake of other stakeholders. All right. Now, one type of social responsibility is sustainability. We have been hearing this term very frequently, sustainability. Now, sustainability in our discussion refers to going green or meeting humanity needs without harming future generations. A major threat currently that we face in today's world is the climate change, which refers to major changes in the overall temperature, you could say perception, wind patterns, and even we can see a lot of change in overall weathers in the last 10 years for the overall countries. Now, global warming, as I said, One aspect of climate change refers to the rise in the global average temperature near the Earth's surface. Now, this is caused mostly by increasing concentrations in the atmosphere of greenhouse gases such as carbon emissions from fossil fuels and etc. Now, another social responsibility that we must observe, or the companies must observe, is the component of the triple bottom line called planet is now identified as the name natural capital. Now, what is natural capital? It is the value, it is basically giving value to natural resources. I mean, how are we giving value to natural resources? We need to give value to air, water, genetic diversity. Now, many scholars think that this should be taken very seriously once we are taking economic decisions. Are we really doing business that is not harming the air, water, or topsoil of this planet? Now, if this is clear, which is like house or what are the social responsibilities required of you as a manager, the next stage is that we need to understand corporate governance. Now, again, corporate governance, in very simple terms, is the system of governing a company so that the interest of corporate owners and other stakeholders are protected. Now, one way to future corporate governance is to be sure that directors are clearly separated in their authority from the CEO by insisting on stronger financial reporting systems and more accountability. Right? So, in general, this is more of a brief summary of chapter number 3. I hope that you are clear with the basic concept and the idea with regards to the manager's changing work environment and ethical responsibility. In case of any questions or queries, please feel free to ask. Thank you again.